Yeah, guys, some important knowledge incoming. And if you thought about that in a well, simply put, well, not the same, but similar manner, you know what I'm talking about. And it's more a gesture of a second opinion than actually an actual advice or something like that, because there are so many people that don't really appreciate that point of view because of religion views or just they feel that way, etc., etc. But this is one of the most important things that if I have to share one sentence, it will be that. I mean, in a few words, I'm not sure I can press it to one exact sentence, but it would be that. First of all, remember, nowadays there are many problems, but still, those factors that so many people find well disturbing, stressing, unequal, etc., etc. Inequality by itself is a big problem, but still, money and everything that money can buy nowadays, there are so many different kinds to spend money because it's not about the money, but because they're a resource that can buy many things. So uh, they're buying freedom, they're buying many things nowadays. I don't mean freedom from the war and from jail, but still many kinds of freedom. So there are so many ways nowadays to do what you want and to even test new things, try new things, and live your life. And that's one of the most important factors that's fighting against the well. How to say inevitable death and the literally woe um, well, bindings to life itself, to the woe interest in living this life, because there are so many people that are rich and don't find the reason to live, but still, for example, and many poor people also. There was in that movie where Morpheus was the main character, mostly. I don't know, there are many main characters, but one of the main, Morpheus, the king of dreams, uh, the brother of death, etc., etc. And this example of the immortal dude that didn't want to die, for example, was a very splendid example of what human motivation for living should be. And nowadays it's getting closer to that point. It's not whatever. There are some situations when even I don't think that is absolutely the best, the worst option in many situations. There are many, there maybe are situations where you just can't continue forward. But mostly it shouldn't be like that. Mostly you can regenerate or at least find stimuli, motivation to continue going on. And sometimes it's the hardest lives that has actually well produced the best and most efficient people. Most efficient is not the word, but the best genius minds, and some art that is beyond the understanding of a normal person, because stress and all that kind of factors that are negative actually are making mostly, not every time, it doesn't happen every time, but are making the consciousness ascend to a new level, so it can continue with that which has happened already. But it doesn't matter. The thing is, that's not the main topic. The main topic is that nowadays maybe we are living in the times where we have to fight. Most of us have to fight for our survival. It's not figuratively speaking. It's not really fighting for survival, but it's really not that easy to have all you need to have even some standard. I'm not fighting for that stuff anymore. I mean, I have goals and I literally am going after them, and I don't really care about what other people think is worthy nowadays. Buying, for example, that's some kind of consumerism that I don't really appreciate. If I like something, I may just buy it, but it's not mandatory for me myself, for example. But many people are finding reason even to live, to be motivated to continue on, because there are so many things that they want to try to have, and whatsoever to feel. So nowadays you can buy mostly anything. Literally, you can buy like you can buy. It's not one to one true, but it's not 100% true. But you can buy health, especially if you are preventing diseases. You can buy all the supplements you need, and you can live a healthy life. So you can buy somehow. We can say you can buy health. You can buy, well, for example, fast moving through space by buying a car, or buying plane tickets, or buying a plane. I don't know, but there are so many ways to travel nowadays, and you can travel cheap, you can travel expensive, you can aim that luxury, and you can get it if that's what you wanna do. And also you can travel nearly without any cash, but still you need a little bit for gas and etc etc. You can buy a very or build very beautiful home, and literally do all the things you can imagine, maybe most of them. You can even live in a virtual reality if you want to nowadays. It's already possible, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that you have so many options to choose from, to be motivated and to live for. I mean, there are some times that people just break and they can't continue. I can partly understand that. I can relate to that. I can literally understand that it's not fixable each and every time. But still, the world is presenting you so many options nowadays to make you motivated to continue. And that immortal dude that chose not to die, for example, it's a very nice example. It's what I imagined as a kid one immortal would actually be. Even in his lowest moments, he still wanted to continue going on. He was on the streets, he was beaten, and then Morpheus was like, now maybe you wanna die eventually at the end of the day, because you see life is shit. And he was like, no, are you crazy? I wanna continue, and there are so many things I haven't seen, haven't felt, and I wanna continue. Of course I want. It's not the best life, but they were barely letting him go. Even it was some kind of crime that he was trying to go in the tavern, and it wasn't the best tavern in the world, or in the city, or in the small state, or whatsoever at this point. And still they didn't want to let him in, and he was very miserable at that point. But he wanted to continue, and that's the good thing about those things that you can buy with money, and that you can accomplish relatively easy nowadays. So yeah, that's a great thing, if you ask me. And think about that, because there might be people around you. There are a few around me, for example, that sometimes can't find the motivation, just can't understand why they're still here and they're losing it day by day. And this is really a mental disease. And if the seed is planted and it starts growing, it doesn't, in many cases, it doesn't get much better, and it could get worse. That's the moment where you can actually influence such people lives, but by just even presenting them options and explaining that to themselves in an interesting, in an interactive, depending on their mindset, psychological profile, etc., way, the things, those things. For example, you can choose for yourself, but those things I'm talking about, and get them motivated. I've been actually there, and some friends actually made that for me. I wasn't on the verge of losing hope, or I still wanted to live on. I still wanted to see, feel different things, but I was literally feeling very, very bad. It was around my 21st year, and it was connected to a disease which could get chronic, but by somehow I managed to cure myself entirely, and I'm perfectly fine till it's gone, and I'm perfectly fine from like more than 10 years now, and I'm thankful for that. But at some points, maybe 1 or 2 points, I was literally wondering what I'm still doing here, because it was like the life essence was drink from me. It was put away, and I wasn't feeling at all. I was literally on the verge of like losing it totally, and losing the meaning and the motivation to continue trying, because I tried everything at that point that I could imagine, that I could find. I tried many different ways, the conventional and the conservative, the everything that I could, and to this point. And then when I got motivated, actually I found several ways to cure that disease, and actually I did well by somehow use modern medicine, and in addition some alternative ways, and all that picture, when I combined those methods, it actually worked, and worked very, very well. So I found a way, but I needed that motivation. Sometimes you need that motivation. You can't go without it. And yeah, that would be my example. Just get motivated. Just feel that there are so many things, and so many options presented to you nowadays. Choose one, choose a few. It doesn't matter, but just to continue feeling and knowing that there are so many things to exist and to live for. Because existence is not living, but still, if you can exist, you can eventually get motivated, so you can also live, and live a good life of your dreams, accomplish some of your goals, maybe all of them, find uh, new goals, create new tasks, and continue growing that confidence that will make you feel happy eventually. Or you can go a different way, but yeah, options are there, and sometimes we don't realize there are people losing hope, losing motivation around ourselves, and we can observe those behavioral patterns, and just stop the disease before it spreads literally that kind of seed of um, losing motivation for anything. Thank you very much, guys. See you later. Okay.